So welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am very over ecstatic today. I don't know why. What's today? Today is St. Patrick's Day. I don't know. I'm just very excited today, guys. And we've reached over 100 subscribers. So I'm just like head over heels. So happy. But in today's video, we are going to be talking about the books and podcasts that are helping me get through my 20s. Yes, even though I'm only 22, I've had crises already. I've had like 3 crises at 22 years old. But I'm going to show you guys the books and the podcasts that helped me get through them. So I won't make this intro too long. Without further ado, let's just get started. So, y'all know, your 20s are hard. Your 20s are probably the hardest thing to have to go through. Like, you deal with so much, and even though I'm in my early 20s, like, I mentally have been going through it. Like, oh my lord, it's been really crazy. However, I have several books that have held me down. Okay, held me down. My podcast, I can't go without listening to podcasts every morning, and I'm gonna tell you guys the ones that help me get through rough mental times. So without further ado, let's just start. So the first book that I have is The Defining Decade by Meg J. This book really put everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything, into perspective for me. This is for you, like, especially if you are a college grad, you need to read this book, because this basically goes through and shows stories of people in their 20s, from different ages, from early 20s to late 20s, basically trying to figure out their life. Some of the stories in here are so relatable. Let's put it in perspective. So basically, one of the stories shows about like work problems and going through like a work crisis of like when you're kind of stuck, especially like after grad. Personally, I can't really relate to it because I'm not looking for a job. I'm not doing that, but it still kind of relates at the same time. But basically, it's just showing you that like personal like capital is key to gaining the job that you want. It's just like jobs, they like to see, especially coming straight out of college. This is speaking from a straight out of college student. Jobs want to see that you also have identity capital. You know, they don't want to just see that you're going from job. They want to see like growth. They want to see what are you doing. You know what I'm saying? Like what are your skills adding to that job? You know what I'm saying? So one of those stories really helped. Another story is about how a girl felt really stuck. She just felt like everybody around her, and this is the story that resonated with me the most, she felt though everybody around her was moving on with life, but she was still like stuck where she was at. It's just like everybody moved towns, everybody was getting all these new jobs, people were getting married, blah blah, having kids and everything, but she still felt very stuck. Like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I'm seeing all these people on Facebook starting theirs, but like, where's mine? So that one really resonated with me, because especially being in the social media age that our generation is in now, it's hard to not compare yourself to other people's lives, because I do it consistently. I try to work on it, but I mean, I'm getting better. But seeing other people move into new places, get new cars, start to get married, take these trips, it makes you seem like, dang, what am I doing with my life? So this book really put in perspective of that, like, everybody kind of deals with the same thing, and there is ways to get out of that, like to get out of that rut. You can, like, it's possible. Basically all the stories though is they went to therapy, and I actually recommend therapy to everybody. I think everybody, especially within this pandemic, everybody needs to go to therapy. Okay, if you say that you don't need therapy, you're lying to yourself. Like, you're lying. Everybody should go to therapy. So this book, highly recommend to anybody in their 20s, like early 20s, late 20s. Everybody needs this book, Defining Decade. I'm gonna put everything down below. You can get these from Amazon. I'll link them in my Amazon storefront, so you guys can go check those out. But yes, must have, #1 book. I read this when I turned 21, so I'm 22 now. So I bought this when I was 21. No, not even 21. I think I bought this right when I turned 20. And I was still a junior in college at that point. But yeah, I bought this when I turned 20, and it really like put everything in perspective for me. The second book that like changed my life, and if you guys can see, I have so many notes in here, was You Are a Badass at Making Money. This was honestly the best book I probably ever read. Like, I have so many notes in here. Like, oh my god, like there's so many notes in this book. So basically this book is literally like, if you're trying to make money, this is going to show you how, in the mindset that you need to be in. It's not really going to teach you like a step by step. It's not like one of those, but it basically tells you how to get into that mindset of how to make money. Like, each chapter also has activities that you could do, but it basically explains how she went, or I forget, yeah, this is the she, how she basically went from being broke into having millions just by taking leaps. Like, you have to take that leap. Basically, she hired a coach, you know what I'm saying? She hired a coach, but she was so scared to spend that money on the coaching, but her hiring that coach led her to making millions. And basically it talks about the law of attraction, manifestation, and everything. But honestly, I recommend this book to anybody. This is one of my favorite books. I've read this book maybe like 3 times just to keep going back and looking on how to get rich. There is mantras in here that you can repeat every day. I'm trying to see what is a really good one, like a really good activities. But basically, like, it basically has every activity that you could have in here. Basically, it talks about self-love practices, what mantras that you need to say, what steps that you need to be taking to even get in the mindset to make a lot of money. Because once you get that money, you think that you're going to be okay, but you have to realize you have to be in the mindset to realize that, like, you went from dead broke to having all of this money. So this teaches you how to even be in that correct mindset to even take and receive that abundance. So for anybody that wants to make money, this book, you must have it. Like, when I say you need to go buy it right now, you need to go buy it right now. She also has another book in this series, which is, I think, You're a Badass, something about being great in life, something like that. She has a book and it's yellow. I heard that one was really good too, but I just have this one and it's my favorite book of all time. Like I said, I read this like it was my Bible. So next book. So this actually isn't a book, it's more of a diary. So this is called the 6-Minute Diary, and like I said, all these things I got from Amazon, and I'll put them down below. So this diary has been getting me through. I was the type of person that, like, I can't really journal because I don't know what to exactly talk about. Like, I don't know what to write, so I got something that basically will help me guide myself. So this journal basically is a habit journal, but it also like stimulates your mind at the same time. So each day it asks you what you're grateful for, how you make today great, positive affirmation. You put that in the morning, and then at night you say one good deed you did, how you will improve, and great things you experienced today. So this helps me just keep track and actually like self-evaluate what I did in my days and, you know, how good of a person I am. Also, each week it asks you 5 weekly questions that really get your brain stimulated. Like, one of the questions they asked last week was, what are your current top 3 priorities in your life? What do you truly want to focus your time in, and what do you want to focus your time and energy on? That was a really, really good question. And also another good question they had asked that really had my mind like stimulated, it said, in your opinion, what do most people think within the first seconds when they meet you for the first time? That really does a lot of self-reflection to realize, what do you think of yourself as a person? So this journal has been really getting me together. I got this maybe like 3 weeks ago, and it's literally part of my routine now. Like, I cannot go a day without writing in that diary because it's helped me do a lot of self-reflection, because I'm really in a space right now where I'm trying to become more self-aware and realize, like, why are things this way in my life versus why are things that way. Another book that's really, really been helping me was The Productivity Project by Chris Bailey. So this basically helps you accomplish more by managing your time, and it really breaks down on like that productivity is a science. Like, it really is a science. There is a way to be more productive, and something that you learn. Like, it's not something that just comes to you, it's something that you have to learn how to be more productive. So it basically breaks down your time, your energy, how to get more energy, why your energy is lacking, why you happen to be procrastinating on these things, why you're not as productive as you are. So it literally breaks down everything to a science. So I knew I needed this because, like, for some reason I was like, I'm not as productive as I would like to be, but I know there's a reason why. It's like, it's something you have to learn. Like, a lot of people don't realize that. Like, when I say that productivity doesn't just come to you, if it does just come to you, you're doing something to make it come to you, because it doesn't just just appear. Like, you really do have to learn how to manage your time and your energy. It's one of the biggest things that humans really struggle with, is discipline and time management. Like, it's so hard. So this book has really helped me realize, like, how can I maximize my productivity. Those are my must-have read books that you must read in your 20s, but there's a lot of others. I just haven't finished some of them. Like, some of them I have Think and Grow Rich. I haven't finished that yet. I have Force of Habit, which I'm gonna share with you guys once I finish it, because I am loving it anyways, I'm loving it so far because it's basically telling you how to develop great habits. So that's a really good one as well. I also read Becoming by Michelle Obama. That's more of like a biography. It's not really a self-help book per se, but it did put a lot in perspective for me and how Michelle has lived her life and everything like that. So I really like that as well. But the books I just showed you, you must get those. If you don't have those, buy them right now. Like, literally, when I say pause this video, go get them right now. Go get them right now. Thank me later. So now we're just gonna get into the podcast. Now, I am a podcast junkie. Like, I love a good podcast. So my first podcast recommendation that you must listen to, and I literally, when I say listen to it like clockwork, I don't go a morning without playing this podcast. So the podcast is The Mindset Mentor by Rob Dial. He got me all the way together. So I think I found him maybe a couple months ago, maybe around the time I started my business. And when I say that, like, he put the fire under my ass, it's just like, he put so much in perspective. And I was like, bro, I need to get my ass up. Like, he gave me so much motivation. Like, if anybody's so good at their job to be a motivation coach, it's him. I love his podcast. He does podcasts every Monday. I think he does them every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And on Thursday, they're business podcasts. So, you know, because I own a business, I really love that as well. But he also puts his videos on YouTube, which I'll also link down below. But, like, I would like to say, like, he really, like, he's not a cheesy motivational speaker. Like, he's a motivational speaker, but he's not gonna give you like the cheesy version. Like, he real life gonna give you that real stuff. So I absolutely love his podcast. If I recommend any podcast to you, it has to be that one. I think that is my favorite podcast. My second podcast, actually, she's a fellow YouTuber. I discovered her on YouTube first, and then she came out with a podcast maybe like a year ago. It is Manifest by Tori desimone. I don't know if you guys follow her on YouTube. She was Tori Sterling. She used to be a beauty YouTuber and does fitness. Her podcast was just like really cool. Like, it seems like they're just like talking to a homegirl for real. Like, she has really good topics about manifestation, about owning a business, about finding self-love, because she struggled with that. But she also just like talks to you. Like, all her podcasts, honestly, for the first like 30 minutes of the podcast, she's really just talking about stuff that she's been doing in her life and like how her day was going and stuff like that. I like to just put those on just to vibe, just to hear somebody talk. I really love that. But like I said, her tips are really good as well. And she has a really cool podcast voice. I don't know if y'all like deal with that same thing, but it's like, I like people that have like good talking voices. So I don't know. But yeah, Manifest by Tori desimone, really bomb. I recommend going check that one out. My third favorite podcast is WomenofLyn podcast. So I actually am the social media intern for WomenofLyn, but I became her intern after like discovering her. So like, her podcasts are really more about like woman empowerment, boss moves, stuff like that. So if you are a woman and you're an entrepreneur especially, you will absolutely love her podcast. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, she talks about a lot of woman empowerment, which I really love, because us women, we really do gotta stick together. So I absolutely love her podcast, and I recommend everybody to go check that out. And she's located in the DMV area just like me. Like I said, I'm her intern. Never met her in person, but I absolutely love her. I absolutely adore her. And my next and last favorite podcast is actually something I just discovered like literally within the last week, was the Blossom Pod. So if you are really into spirituality, into self-awareness, basically finding yourself, I absolutely recommend the Blossom Pod. It is made by a fellow Capricorn. Her name is Taylor, and she's also a therapist as well. So it's just really soothing. And like, beginning her podcast, she makes sure to play like some really good high vibration music with her little bowls, and it's like, it just makes you feel like so at home and like so safe, because it's just like hug. You just feel really safe, like somebody's giving you a hug. And she basically, like I said, I just discovered it, so I've been like binge listening to her episodes. But yeah, she basically talks a lot about self-awareness and being vulnerable and how to start your spiritual journey. So I absolutely recommend checking that out. If you're going through like a phase, going through like a spiritual phase, definitely recommend listening to her podcast. Yeah, I love her. I love her already, and I literally just started listening to it, but it's already in my you must listen. But okay, you guys, this video was very, very quick. I really just wanted to talk about that because, like I said, I'm really going through a lot of self-reflection right now. Being 22, I'm still in my early 20s, but like I'm mentally kind of like blocked right now, and I really just wanted to go through and show you guys like things that help me kind of get out of that rut. If you guys have any other recommendations, definitely put them down below in the comments. Like I said, I'd love to have discussions down there, and I will see you guys in the next video.